I wish to share this. I wish to share this. I wish to place some importance on this. I shared about this before. I'm gonna try to share it very quick. So, my fellow brethren from SDA, please give me your attention. And so you can comment later, or you can also correct me if you can. Okay? This is my presentation. Please open your Bibles to Romans chapter 2, verse 14. So these are Gentiles. Okay? Could you find the scripture for me in Acts 10? The blanket of animals. Whether it's the blanket of animals. So please read for us Romans chapter 2, verse 14. So it's good that the echo is down. Okay. So please read, anyone from you. You can use the microphone here. Could you pass this along, Brother Dennis? Romans 2:14, please read for us. 2:14. Could you flip this?
Sapagkat kung ang mga iingil na walang kautusan sa kanusubo ay sisigawan ng mga bagay ng kautusan, ang mga ito na walang kautusan ay siyang kautusan sa kanilang sarili.
So, let me quote in English. The Gentiles which have not the law, but have the law written in their hearts. Okay? Do you believe those Gentiles were saved? Brothers, sisters, do you believe those Gentiles were saved?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, we see in the Old Testament, God can save those Gentiles without the law. Now, when we go to the New Testament, we can read in the New Testament what was commanded to the Gentiles. So in Acts chapter 15, they talk about food offered to idols, from blood, like that, from fornication. So, we have the New Testament as a specific instruction to the Gentiles. Now, brothers and sisters, do you have any scripture in the New Testament wherein the Gentiles were forbidden to eat things that are considered unclean by the Jews? Are there? Just tell me yes or no, if there are. Do you think there are? There's not. There's not. Okay, so let's presume there's not, okay? Since you have not known any, I have not known any, so anyone has not given any. Let me explain the explanation of others. Because I've been listening to SDA radio regularly. We have debated with them before. Brother Johnson. Their explanation is, it's understood, don't need to write them down. They explain it that way. Okay? Now let me explain my side. When they evangelize the Gentiles into Christianity, what you read in the book of Acts, what you read in the epistles, are the exact commandments they gave the Gentiles. So it's very specific. So if you're going to go to the old, there's none. If you're going to go to the new, there is also none. Now, let me give the purpose. So, a while ago I talked about the Sabbath. There is the significance of the Sabbath. It's not useless. The significance, I'd like to share the significance. This is the significance. What does the unclean foods represent? Let's give a quotation mark. This is unclean as declared by God to the Jews, to the Israelites. Now, why were they given? What was the purpose? So, I'm just going to give this in a nutshell because my time is very short. Could you read the Acts chapter 10? Barrito, what verse is that?
Yeah. Acts 10, verse 9 until
Verse 9.
verse 16.
9 to 16. So, I presume all of you knows that. Who knows that? Please raise your hand. For those who doesn't know them, please ask questions. Okay? So, the story is there was a how do you call that? Blanket. A linen cloth filled with unclean animals. Lowered from heaven. And in a vision to Peter. Vision. So, and God commanded Peter, take, kill, and eat. And Peter said, no unclean thing has passed through my mouth. That shows his adherence to the law. And God spoke, do not call unclean what I have made clean. What are you going to say? Okay, common or unclean? We take for granted these are the forbidden foods in Leviticus 11. So, you always emphasize pigs. Maybe it's your favorite food. So, it's not just pigs, there's lunch, many others here. No, God said, do not call them unclean what He have made clean. Now, let me give first my understanding of that. It is not that God is commanding them that they can already eat the forbidden foods. Literally. That is my understanding. It is the salvation of the Gentiles. It is the Gentiles who are eating those foods that will be saved. You know why? Because that vision will coincide the instruction for him to go to Cornelius and bring him the gospel. Am I correct? Okay. So this is the time. What was lowered is not the foods of the Jews. What was lowered are the foods of the Gentiles. And what God was referring to as unclean are the Gentiles. The Gentiles were the ones considered unclean. Now, when God said He made them clean, it is the Gentiles who were taking those foods. You get the picture? He was referring to the Gentiles. He was not saying to Peter, oh, you can now eat them. Before I forbid them, but now they're not forbidden. Remember, in the Old Testament, God saved the Jews and the Gentiles. Amen? There are Jews that were saved, and there were Jews that were not saved. Amen? There were Gentiles that were saved, there were Gentiles that were not saved. It's not because whether they knew the law or not, whether they fulfilled the spirit of the law written in their hearts. So, let's go to this spirit of the law. The unclean, forbidden foods in Leviticus 11 represented spiritual things. Just the same as I mentioned a while ago about the Sabbath, the physical rest in a day of the week gives rest to your body, so that you can continue for another day. While they were slaves in Egypt, they never had any rest. But take note, I'm distinguishing the body from the soul. The same thing. The physical, unclean foods can give you sickness in the body. That's what you're saying. And most medical establishments would agree. Okay, but that's not exactly perfect. Okay, it doesn't mean some Japanese who ate swine there, they would grow sickly and die. Some of them grow much more healthier. But that's another subject. What I'm focusing here is, we're talking about salvation. We're not talking about physical fulfillment of the law. Because there is the old understanding of the law and there's the progressive understanding of the law. The progressive understanding of the law here in the unclean foods is this. The Gentiles who are taking those unclean foods could be made clean. They are not going to hell because of eating of those foods. They're going to hell because of the conscience of their hearts. Now, when the gospel was brought to them, it is still the same. In verse 16, in the day that God will judge the secrets of the hearts of men by my gospel, which is the gospel of Jesus Christ. So, let's talk about unclean. The unclean foods to the Jews now represents for us. We're Christians, we're believers. We're believers of this promise from the Old Testament. The law and the prophets, they foreshadowed Christ. And if they foreshadowed Christ, what does those unclean foods represent for us? This is what they represent. They represent, I'm talking of the physical food. They are a type and shadow of spiritual foods. So when you say, do not throw your pearls to the swine, or they will just trample them underfoot. It represents not the literal swine. In the picture, the swine and the dogs wherein you were not to throw the pearls, they're worldly people. The unclean foods represent the sin in the world. Salvation is no longer by the physical foods. Mark chapter 18. Sorry. Is it Mark chapter 7 or Matthew chapter 7? It's Mark 7, verse 18. Not all that went into the mouth will defile a man, but those things that comes out of the mouth. The things that comes out of the mouth, fornication, adultery, idolatry, etc. Those are the spiritual foods I'm referring to. When Christ said, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees, he was not 7:19. He was not referring to the literal leaven. The disciples thought it was literal leaven. But Christ was referring to the doctrines. Christ was referring to the, shall we get the straight doctrine of the Nicolaitans. Beware of that spirit. Doctrine of the Nicolaitans. So, the unclean foods that were forbidden to the Israelites, they are a light to the Gentiles, and that light is Jesus Christ. They didn't have Jesus Christ yet, they had the shadow. And going to that light, it's deeper than literal foodstuffs you put into your mouth. It is the spiritual things. And did you know spiritual things are also partaken spiritually in the mouth? That's why the tree of life, the question of learning a while ago, the knowledge of good and evil, they represent spiritual things. They're not literal. Those who will overcome, I will grant him to eat of the tree of life that which is in the base of the paradise of God. So, the same thing with this. So, it's like this. The Gentiles that were converted to Christianity in the New Testament, if they were proselytes of the Jews, then they might have this practice. They were Gentiles that were proselytes. You know proselytes? They were already converted to Judaism when they heard about Paul. But there were Gentiles that were not converted to Judaism. They were pagans when they were converted to Christianity. So here it comes the verse of Romans chapter 14. Some esteem one day over the other. So there are Gentiles that esteem the seventh day. But there are Gentiles that were converted by Paul that did not come from the synagogues. They were previously pagans. And they embraced Christ. They didn't learn about these practices of the Jews. So, they esteem every day the same. Just the same with the food. Some things are forbidden, to others it is not. And Paul was ostracized by his fellow Jews because he did not emphasize that in his converts. When Paul converted those pagans, he did not convert them like the Jews were proselyting the Gentiles. Oh, if you convert to us, you have to circumcise. You convert to us, you have to do this and do that. Paul did not do that. That's why Paul was somewhat ostracized by his fellow peers in his wording in Galatians. Now, going back to this is the significance. Why? All the Old Testament is not useless. It points to something. We need to see where it is pointing. Okay, I'm gonna cut. Who raised their hand a while ago? Brother Ludi?
Brother Francis, how about Acts chapter 10? When God told to Peter na he may eat in the vision.
So it represents the Gentiles that were eating those things.
Spiritual
In the
or
eyes of the Jews, they're forbidden. They even force the Gentiles to forbid. Do not eat them. But in the eyes of God, they could be made clean.
literal or
Verse 28. Verse 28 po yun ng Acts 10.
Yes.
Yes, sabi.
literal or spiritual?
It's like this. It's not literally that Peter can eat them. God was not commanding the Israelites that they're going to change their law. What the Gentiles have already accustomed to in their dietary status, God can still save them in spite of their dietary status. That is the message to Peter. That's the meaning. If you will go extreme, like what the Protestants would do, you could go as far as, oh, Peter can also eat them. You get the picture? But God did not abrogate the law to the Jews. The law was purposed to point to the shadow, the typology which is in Christ, to which it is pointing to.
Agree po ako doon na hindi literal yung pagkain dun sa toilet. Kaya kasi sabi nga vision. Agree po ako na hindi po literal na pagkain yung tinutukoy doon. Kundi yung mga hentin. Bakit po? Ang mga Hudyo, pinagbabawalan po sila na makilumino sa mga hentin. Lalo na kakain sila kasama ang mga yun. Eh si Cornelio po, yung isa po sa tinutukoy na nalinis na sana yun po yun, na huwag nang ipagpalagay ang mga hintil na marumi kasi hindi lamang po ang mga Hudyo ang piniligtas ng Diyos, hindi lang sila yung nilinis, maging yung mga hintil.
Okay, thank you. So, what I'm saying, those Gentiles who are still continuing to eat those forbidden foods, those eating those forbidden foods will be made clean by God. Because they were considered unclean by the Jews. Those considered unclean will be made clean. Those eating those foods. Brother Menan. Let no one therefore judge you, whether in meat or in drink or in holidays or... So, okay, we have a few minutes, brother. You want to share something? Okay, maybe 1 minute, but 8 o'clock. Okay, but no exchanges. After you hear his side, next, you can continue either 8 o'clock or next Sunday. Okay, so will you be still staying? Ako is explaining. Maybe next week, but they want to go. They want to leave. Okay. Please start the video, Brother Jelay.